Hey guys, welcome to the next Blender tutorial, and we are featuring my son here today. There he is. Say hello, Caleb. All right, my son is at home today, and I'm babysitting and I'm working. So a man can multitask, right? So just excuse the noise. I brought my mic as close as possible. Hopefully it's not going to be a problem. But today we are starting sort of a new topic within our Blender videos. If you want to be a VFX artist, so if you've looked at our previous tutorials, remember we've done camera tracking, very easy, as fast as possible. We also did, if you remember, we did creating an HDRI as fast as possible with your iPhone. Within 10 minutes you got yourself a professional HDRI to light up your scene, just to bring your integration of your CG into your live action footage and light it as realistic as possible. All right, and then of course we did some compositing and some background and foreground layering and how to composite your CG nicely into your live action footage so that it integrated very nicely. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And so what we're going to be looking at is we're beginning to look at animation. All right, animation was something that I had done for a very long time. I started in After Effects, so when I had come through to Blender, I already had a very basic understanding of it. And today, what the aim is within the next 3 videos. Today we'll look at keyframing, the different keyframes that you get, and looking how Blender works with keyframing. And then I'll just touch on basically with animation and creating the type of movement, the type of animation that you want. And then what we'll do is then we'll look into creating bones, because the ultimate goal is that we're going to be animating a character as fast and easily as possible. It's really not complicated. In fact, to be honest with you, if I can share with you, I actually attempted, so our church which is the Active Church, did a movie in 2013, and we called them Christ Avengers. Go check out our streaming site and activetvonline.co.za. Yes, I guess you can say sponsored by Active TV. Definitely, they have financed everything that is going on here. So yes, sponsored by Active TV. Go check Active TV Online, and that Christ Avengers is one of the films that I think is on, or we will be putting on. But I had to animate Hulk. Okay, and so I had a small idea and I did it, and I was scared. After that, I didn't touch animation again because it's a very long procedure, and I think specifically because it's hard work that does pay off. And so I looked at it again in my December holidays, and I did something called Pixar in a Box by Khan Academy. Go check them out. It's a free course. And then I looked at animation again, right, Caleb? I looked at animation again, and I was actually like, but this is actually easy. All right, and in 2013 I did not do it the proper way. But anyway, so that's what we're going to be looking at today. So let's get straight into Blender. So these are the animations that I created very recently. Let me show you. So when it comes to animation, so I did a Lego man just because of his stiffness, and I also went online and I researched basically. I looked at the way Lego men move, especially the Lego movie. Go check that out. And that just inspired me to sort of do, and these animations did not take me very, very long. They were very simple to do, and just to show you very quickly is my backflip, which was my ultimate animation, which I did. Yes, let's check that again. Ha ha ha. All right, so there it is. So that was the sort of the animations. I did them quickly, very loosely. It didn't take me very long to sort of do these, and so that's what we're going to look at. But like I said, all right, first of all, let's look at keyframing. Let's understand keyframing and all the very general things. Yes, as I create a general scene. All right, so I guess let's go straight to our animation tab over here. And the first thing that I want to start off with is that first of all, let's understand what keyframing is. All right, in fact, yeah, let's get through some very basic stuff here. And first of all, what I would like to say is that keyframing, first of all, creating a keyframe, and not only that, but looking at the different methods of creating keyframes here. So what a keyframe basically is, and we'll use it by animating this this box, right over here. Just by creating this box over here, what I would like to do is get out of. Oh, I'm not in camera view. All right, let's just use this box as a very good demonstration as to what keyframing is, as I figure out why my shortcuts are not working correctly. But anyway, no problem, I'll just use this guy over here. So let's first move it up over here. And so there are many different methods of creating keyframes. All right, we can use the Dopesheet, which you can see over here. All right, the other one that you are able to use is you can use my graph sheet right over here. I'm going to change it to my graph editor. And then a third method, wait, I don't want to do that. A third method that we are able to use is basically our timeline. Okay, is this one? Yes. All right, so graph editor, our dope sheet, and then our timeline. So how this works is that what you're doing is you're saying, okay, at this point I select my object, okay, and now there's many different methods and many different ways of creating a keyframe. All right, the first one is in my timeline. So if you don't know, this is my timeline. This is at the beginning of my animation, and I can obviously zoom out of this, but each one of these numbers represent the amount of frames that I'm working with here. So if you don't know anything about animation, animation is different frames. So if I have to, this is one pose, and in the next frame, well, let's say my animation is this. So in frame 1, this is my pose. In frame 2, let's rather do this hand. So in frame 1, this is my pose. In frame 2, my hand is slightly bit more. In the next frame, and so as every frame goes, and then you put the frames together, and I'm doing this. It's kind of like, you know, when you used to do those flip book animations where you would on each page draw a stick figure, and then the stick figure is slowly moving. Then when you flip through it, you got an animation. So that's basically what these are. These are all frames, and what you're doing is you're saying, okay, frame 1, I'm going to keyframe it, and the way to do that is just to right click. Right, let's do this differently. So the one way to do it, and I think I would need to work within, okay, no, I am in the right place. So first of all, you got to have your object selected, and here is location, rotation, and scale. So let's say I select my location. All right, now I can select all of these. I can select each one individually. I can say right click, and I can say insert keyframe. The other thing that I can do, which is a shortcut, I don't know how many people know that you can do this, but I can select and drag, and then yes, I can right click. Okay, no, all right, right click, insert keyframe. There you go. Okay, so it actually does it across all of them. So now what I've done is that if you look here at keyframe 1, wherever my playhead is on, I've got a keyframe. All right, that is in my graph view. In my dope sheet, you can see there I've created a keyframe, and the same within my timeline. Right, then what I can do, okay, so that's the one method of creating a keyframe. The other thing that I can also do is, if I undo that, is I can press I, and it's going to pop up a menu, and it's going to ask me, do I want to place a location keyframe, a rotation, or a scale, or a location and rotation keyframe, or a location, rotation, and scale, which is all of them, or yes, and then there's custom properties and blah, 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 and so I can go on. All right, in this case, obviously when I keyframe, I like to do location and rotation, because that's what I'm going to be rotating. I'm not going to be doing scale. If I'm going to be doing scale, then I just choose lock, rot, and scale. Location, rotation, and scale. So let's just do that. Now I've created a keyframe. You can even see over here, I've created a keyframe as well. All right. The other thing that I can do, okay, so I've showed you I've showed you how you can click over here. And the other way that you can do it is here in either one of these menus. Okay, I suppose maybe over here. Okay, there you go. Insert keyframe. That is on my timeline over here as you, okay. Insert keyframe, right. So it is actually possible. I click there. Yes, I can click there either way. So you can do, so there you go. I can right click in here. I can right click over here and I can click over here. The other thing that is worth making a point of is that if I've created a whole lot of keyframes, I can also delete them by right clicking here and saying delete keyframe. Okay, so at frame 1, my box is over here. I'm going to go to frame 10 and I'm going to move it by pressing G, and I'm going to move it. Now notice there's no keyframe. I need to create a keyframe. So I can do one of those methods. I'm going to choose pressing I within my viewport, lock, rot, and scale. And now what you'll see is that I've got 2 keyframes between frame 0 and frame 10. And you can see what it's done. It's jumped. All right. You'll probably find, now this was something that I set within Blender. I set my keyframe type. So I'm just you will probably find within your keyframe, it's probably moving. Let's try that again. You'll probably find that your keyframe is doing this. All right, so you can see now between frame 0 and frame 10, it's moving. But you notice how I did not have to set keyframes between the 2 keyframes. I didn't say, okay, keyframe 3, you got to be roughly around over here. All right, keyframe 8, let's judge. Okay, maybe it needs to be about it. The program is automatically going to set your in-between keyframes for you. And this is basically called, I think it's like tweening. But another word is interpolate. Anyway, that word. It's going to automatically do the in-betweens for you, which is a great help, right? Because you don't want to do all those in-betweens for you. And if you're wondering why before that I had it on something called constant, we're going to get to that when we get to animation, animating your character, so I don't want you to worry about that right now. So the software automatically does that for you. I've showed you the different ways of creating a keyframe. All right, so I can go now, I can continue, and I can create my keyframes, and automatically it's gonna, there you go, I've created my own animation right there for myself. Something else that you're able to do is if you don't want to create all the individual keyframes, okay, here we go. Okay, wait. In fact, let me not clear my keyframes. Something that I want to demonstrate for you is that I can delete a keyframe by right-clicking within any one of my graph, my Dopesheet, or my keyframe, and I can say delete keyframe. All right. As you can see, you can select your keyframes. All right, so I can select and I can say delete keyframe. It's only going to delete the one. I can highlight all of them and say delete keyframes. Or the other thing which you can do, oh, by the way, you can do it over here within your object properties. All right, if you want to delete any one of them individually, I can delete the keyframe. And you can see it's actually only deleted, I think, the one. See now how it's done something weird there. The other thing that I can do is if I want to clear all of them, right, you can select all of them and say delete it. I've showed you. I can also right click here and I can actually say clear keyframes, which has deleted all my location keyframes. Right, so I guess I would have to do on my rotation, and I guess I would have to do on my scale, and there you go, all my keyframes are removed. So there you go, that's how you create them. That's how you can work with them. That's how you can, now you don't have to have all 3 of these open, right? You can, so for example, I can say, okay, I Each one of them has their own purpose, I think, which we can get into as we're creating different keyframes. So I think, let's see if I can, yes. All right, I had to actually look up a tutorial on how to do this, because that's what happens if you don't. And right there, I'm stuck. Ever been stuck in creating a whole lot of different windows? Go have a look. There you go. And that's how you do it. I've created so many of those windows. The one time I just got stuck, and eventually I had to go look up a tutorial, and I was like, so simple. So when I start off with my animation, I'll just use my Dopesheet editor to begin with. Okay, so you can do something. So I'm going to delete all of these. I'm going to go right to the beginning, and I'm going to delete them. My son is moving my toolbox around. So the other thing that you can do is that you're actually able to, let's center myself, you're actually able to turn on auto keyframing, which is this little dot round circle over here. Looks like a circle. So I've turned it on. I don't believe that you can. Oh, you can. Okay. So if I want to start from there, I'm going to create the initial keyframing. All right. And then I'm gonna move. Now you have to move in your timeline. All right. So I'm gonna move up because I've created my starting keyframe over there. And then I'm gonna grab this, and when I move it, it's automatically now gonna create keyframes for me. And perhaps if you're doing something in a hurry, or not in a hurry, but you know already what you are doing, it's going to create keyframes for you. Okay, you can see it's gone back because I've deleted the keyframes. So don't worry about what I'm doing right now. So there you go. It's going to do that automatically for you. I've set up Blender automatically to do constant keyframing. That was a tutorial that I did. We will get to there. Okay, so I've showed you how to delete it. Now, this is actually quite a quick tutorial. So something that I want to get to, which is very important, is when it comes to expressing your animation, right? Because e.g., I can take this box, I can put it up here. All right, I'm going to take auto keyframing off because I don't like it. And I can come ahead here and I can grab it and I can move it down again. By the way, I have to create a new keyframe. As you know, if I move my timeline now, it's going to just take me right back to where we were before. So anyway, let me put you there, create a keyframe. So just to end off this tutorial, I want to show you that I can take this box and I can just drop it and I can say, oh wow, okay, cool. Oh, by the way, with your timeline, all right, what's nice about this is that I've got my start, which is at 0, and my end. My animation is not that long, so I'm just going to do that. And what's nice is I can press play. And when it gets to the end of where I've set my out point to my timeline, it's going to keep repeating it. Now, I can just get this box like this to drop. Or what I can do is I can give it a bit of a animation. In other words, I can get it to feel heavy. All right. And something else that you can, by the way, do is add a rigid body to it. But we'll get there. Simulations is something that I definitely want to get into, but we'll get there pretty soon after the character. I hope I remember that I said this. But I can add some animation to this and I can make it drop and almost like can make it that it sort of, there you go, see? Now I've added a bit more realism to it. Okay, you saw I did that. I can even now once you've done it, even though there's a keyframe there, don't forget, it's important that you, otherwise you're going to lose it. Now watch what I've done. See, now I've added a bit more realism to it. I can even it when it comes down. Yep, Lego blocks have all just come out. Don't know if you can hear my son. Now something that I want to do is, because it's slightly rotated, I can put these back at 0. There you go. And rotation and location. So I'm adding just that little bit of a, see there? Just that little bit of a glitchiness to it. And then, so I can do stuff like that. Something else is that I can give weight to the box as well. So how do I do that? Well, something that's heavy falls quick, right? So I can highlight these keyframes, I can press G, and I can pull it a bit closer, make it feel a bit more heavy. See? I can scale, so I can select this keyframe, these keyframes, and I can, okay, it scales towards the playhead, just so you know. So I can put the playhead there, and I can press S, and I can bring those keyframes together closer. And now it feels heavier. See that? It feels heavier. Alright. I can make it feel as light as a feather. So first of all, let's look at the fact that it falls slowly. Alright. And second of all, let's sort out these keyframes. Alright. I can select them. I can press X. I can delete. That's another way. And let's say it just sort of bounces. And it floats off. How about that? Right, and then I'm going to show you, so, and it just floats off. Okay, there you go, very nice, very cool. Okay, now let's talk quickly about this guy over here. So in the graph editor, I've got all these fancy curves in that. So if you're wondering, some of you, I think, I have a suspicion that you already know what I was doing. So I'm going to keep my Dopesheet over here, and I'm going to in here open up my graph editor, and this will be the last thing that I'll show you today. And you'll see I've got the keyframe over here, so there's its initial start, and then it gets to this bunch of keyframes over here, and then suddenly you have this like split out over here. Let me extend this a bit. I want to grab these guys, because I really want to get, you've got to get the feel for this animation right. There you go, and then it floats around. It looks like it's a box on Mars, right? Alright, these are the things I could do, you know. Because even when it's free falling, like there's hardly any gravity, so what happens is then, there you go. Box on Mars. Okay, you see? We've given it a bit more life. Now, if you look at this keyframe, now what the graph editor does is it really gives you how the animation is going to come across the keyframe. So you can see there's a line heading up, all right, and I can scale this way. There you go, that gives you a better view. Now what I can do is you can see how the line is going one way, and next minute, and then it comes another way. I can soften this, because that's what the animation is doing. It's hitting and then bouncing off. All right. And what I'm able to do is, if I can select this, I can change the keyframe type, and that's this interpolation type. So handle. All right. And in fact, that's what these are. They actually are handles. So if I take this handle type, I can change the shape of them. I can ease them. All right. So automatically easing. Okay, it's not really doing anything, and I think that's just because that's got more to do with maybe your beginning or something like that. Anyway, we'll get around there. But something that I did is I changed my interpolation type. So constant means that it's going to change on the keyframe. See, it's not doing anything until here. Can you see there? And this has its uses, and we'll get there when it comes to character animation. But I'm going to choose Bezier. And you'll see what Bezier does is it adds on a handle in which I can change how the animation's happening. And you see what this is going to do is it's going to smoothen it off. So you can see it's going to fall, then it's going to hit, and then it's going to add a curve to it. Now watch this. It's going to smoothen it off a bit. So instead of just going bing, it's gonna add more of like a variable, a variance to the animation. See there, it almost looks like it's fallen by the wind. If I select the beginning and I say Bezier as well, you see how you see how it smoothens your animation, and this helps a lot with character animation as well. See there, now it feels like there's a gravity feel. It's not so hard. Okay, maybe we take the moment it drops, and let's change that to linear. All right, and now I'm able to even change this. So by the way, what are these different colors over here? Well, if you look at this, yes, my directive, my axis, my axis, let's put it that way. All right, you can see that green is what? Y, blue represents Z, and my other one, which is red, which you're not really seeing too much, and that's just because of the fact that it's not moving too much, that the main animation here is happening within the Z and the Y. So that is the animation that the box is taking in that direction, and you can actually see that because there's a curve. Can you see how it's moving across? So I can just say, okay, don't just make it more straight. By the way, if you come here, there's your different location in Y. And there you go. I don't know if I'm selecting. I'm not getting a handle on this. Excuse the pun. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But I can change that so that it's not. Okay, let's say I want to do it with the Z. So let's say all of these. Bezier. Pretty sure that that's the Z handle. Okay, no, but that's for it's for location. So we do that. Alright, anyway, let's say Z location. I can change that just the Z location is linear. Better yet, let's select it. Right click, linear. So now it's going to fall hard, still have that sort of float around, because all my other location axes are in Bezier. I've only changed my Z into. There you go. So it depends on what you're wanting to do. Maybe this was a gravitation fall, type of thing. Anyway, if that's not your style, just select all the keyframes, go right back to linear. Which, by the way, doesn't really help. I'm missing something. I'm sure there's some sort of animation here. I'm sure if I say A, right click, I believe that we are back where we are. Anyway, so I know that has definitely helped someone. Someone out there is going, oh, wow. All right. And that's animation. Animation is a lot of fun. The reason why it's a lot of work is because you're perfecting the animation. You're perfecting the feel of it, how you're making your animation feel, whether you're making something, because you can give weight to your object just by how quick you want something to fall, or how quick it falls, or how long it takes to get off the ground, or there you go. That feels super light. I'm sure this will make it feel heavier. Yeah, slow motion moment. Anyway, so there you go. Hope you guys understand. If you have any questions, ask a question below, comment below, ask me a question, and please subscribe to support what we're doing here, and most of all, like this video, because I know you like this video. Next week we're going to be looking at bones. and bones is something that you place within your character rig, and then you can do what you're doing here with the keyframes. Oh, somebody just clicked. They're like, oh, is that how they do it? So we create bones, and I'm going to show you guys how to easily, as quick as possible, parent those bones to your character. I'm going to do something simple like my Lego man, because that was very simple. If you want to create more complicated, then rigs where like a human body, the stuff bends, well, we can look at that. Just comment below, and guys, I'll see you guys next week in the next Wanna Be a VFX Artist. Check you guys then. Cheers.